last month's discussion, there was some talk about these uh, conversions of public domain titles. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on The Brain That Couldn't Die.
Okay.
And it's an interesting conversion. It's definitely handmade. It's not all automatic, but the parts that I most wanted to see in 3D are where it falls down. Complex shots with lots of test tubes and racks in the foreground just sort of get mashed together. But it's a movie I've always had a curious interest in, so it's a fun purchase. So I forget who recommended that.
Yeah, there are a couple online storefronts selling these. Um, I assume they're public domain
Yeah,
3D conversions of public domain movies. Um, Somehow that doesn't surprise me. I'm hoping that there's a real artist out there who's going to do it right.
I
yeah.
think
This wasn't a
that's the
bad job, but it had the usual hallmarks of a post conversion. Trapped reflections, weird trees.
I think
Mergers.
those are the same people that converted Superman, and then recently the Marx Brothers Coconuts showed up on their website.
That sounds
So
right. Let
I
me.
love the Marx Brothers. It'd be really interesting to see what they do with that. It's a pretty primitively shot film, kind of the early days of sound.
This was Plan D. It's the group here.
Yeah, I think that's the same. If not, they're somehow connected. But I just wanted to quickly mention that Mufasa is still playing in 3D. I can't really recommend the film. It's even though it's a prequel to The Lion King, it's kind of a rehash of the story. Um, there's some cool effects with like butterflies and stuff, but it's not. I don't think it's a great film. I'm not a big fan of those realistic looking animals.
Live action.
Yeah, we'll have action, but it's all
Right.
computer generated. Um, but I think it's doing well financially. People seem to like it.
The animated movies to watch right now are Wallace and Gromit, the Vengeance Most Foul, and Flow, which I was happy to see won the Golden Globe.
How did Vengeance Most Foul do at the theater?
Quite well, quite
Glad
well.
to hear
Really
that.
wide-ranging audience. Families with kids, people who remember the stuff from 16 years ago was the last new Wallace and Gromit short,
Yeah.
and the new one it's good. It's they really pick up where they left off. It has the right feel to it.
Yeah, Matt and I saw that together,
That's
Nice.
right.
kind of under special circumstances.
Have they been shooting the entire time?
Sorry.
Have they been shooting the entire time? I know it takes years to.
No. This
well,
is a Netflix production. This is a brand new film.
Aardman has been consistently making films,
Right.
but not Wallace and Gromit films. And in fact, Nick Park had a film about cavemen that wasn't as good
Early
as the
Man.
Wallace and Gromit
Early
films.
Man. Yeah, this isn't the case like Primevals, where it's somebody's passion project for 30 years.
And of course, let's see. The Pirates is Aardman, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So an excellent
That's a good one.
3D
And
Aardman
that
title.
and how long ago was that?
Oh, I can't read that fine print.
Probably
I don't know if I even want to
12
know.
years ago.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. 2012. So
Yep.
I'm not even going to do the math. All right. Well,
14
welcome
years
everybody. Happy New Year, as I said earlier. We're going to get this show on the road. I have a few announcements to make. And let me just pull up my notes. The main thing that I wanted to mention before we get into the slideshow, to make sure that there's time for discussion if it's something we want to discuss, is the special subjects for 2025. And some of you have probably already read the email that I sent about this. Normally, I take a poll for the year's special subjects, but this year I'm trying something different. I really wanted to do a special subject season, special subject year that's more focused on techniques specific to stereo photography. And if you look at the special competition, or rather special subject schedule, which I'll post to the chat, you'll see that most of them are familiar to us, things like hyperstereo and rivalry. There are a few new ones like mergers and hypostereo that are techniques that I think we've all used, but we've never really used them as a subject. And I'm also calling it the 2025 Special Stereo Challenge, which I think just has a better ring to it. I don't know. So I wanted to get your thoughts. If anyone had any other subjects in mind, if anyone's had a chance to look at the schedule, let me know.
Yeah, I took a brief look, and yeah, I like the emphasis on technique. I think it'll be fun. If I can get my Photoshop going, I'll try and actually contribute this year.
Yes, well, Steve, what is it that you use again?
Affinity.
Affinity, of
yeah.
course, or Affinity.
So, Tor, are you using?
I've downloaded it. I've looked at it. I haven't had time to do the tutorials, and maybe it's just my own impatience. Because I know what I want to do with it, and it doesn't do that until I can figure the rest of it out.
I'll be happy to sit with you or Zoom with you.
All right, yeah, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should set up a play date.
I could even do that for the whole group. There's probably stuff that Affinity does that the early versions of Photoshop that people are using, it would blow it away. I mean, those that are paying the subscription, it's not going to compete.
Yeah.
But if considering you just pay one time,
yeah,
it's got a lot of great features.
Yeah, I just get stuck where all I want to do is copy one picture and paste it over the other picture as a layer, and it's not letting me do that until I figure out why.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So,
yeah.
Have you seen PhotoP?
Not familiar.
Okay, it's in the browser. It looks a lot like Photoshop, and it's free.
Yeah, give us a link, Jay.
Yeah.
So Steve, be careful what you're suggesting, because I might just rope you into a workshop here. Put you on the spot.
Don't hesitate. I'm happy to do it.
If you are into that, let me know and we'll set it up.
I did a bunch of those for a series of online classes I was teaching. So I'm not a stranger to that.
Okay. Well, I will follow up and we'll make this happen, because I'd like to learn it too, because I'm trying to wean myself off Photoshop.
You'll have to find out about Jay's, though. See if that's a better option.
Well, we'll work this out. So yeah, thanks, Steve. I'll follow up about that. Alan, welcome. Great to see you. Alan, I met Alan yesterday at the Internet Archive, and I may as well mention that. I was going to save that for later, but I did visit the Internet Archive yesterday to discuss the possibility of presenting our Andrew J. Russell slideshow at their venue. I was invited by Evan Surchuk. He visited us at a few of our meetings online, and Melinda J. and I attended a special event at the Internet Archive that Evan had invited us to. That was, I think, a public domain day. I had mentioned this last month. We talked about the best way to project it. I was sort of leaning towards anaglyphs at that point, and that's what I showed them. I also showed them my Lume Pad, and they were really blown away by that. So they don't want to do an anaglyph show. They want to, well, they're considering upgrading their own projection system so that they can project polarized stereo, and they're thinking beyond just one presentation, and they realize that they have a lot of stereo photography in their own archives that they have not been able to share with the world. So they want to do it right. I'm putting together some information for them. I'd really like us to partner with them on this. So I may be reaching out to some of you for information about projection, but this would be something that they would be setting up themselves. So good news, and yeah, welcome, Alan.
Thank you.
And we will
Sounds like
get to your project in a bit, but I would like to go ahead, unless there are any questions or anything anyone would like to bring up.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Clearly, Leia has not yet fixed Leia tube. Do you have any status reports on that, and have you been bugging them?
I have been bugging them. I just checked about 15 minutes ago to see if there happened to be another update for the Leia Tube app, and there is not. And I'm using it now, and it's exhibiting that same low resolution behavior. So no progress on it. I think what I'll have to do next is start complaining about it on the main 3D Groups IO discussion board, and maybe make a little noise about it.
So if you have a trouble ticket number, is that something that you can share so that we can each individually complain to Leia, because multiple voices may be better than one? And is it better for us to each individually report the same thing as if we don't know that there's already a trouble ticket? Or is it better to basically say, we know that this trouble ticket exists, we've been waiting for a fix, it's impacting us as well as you, get your act together, it used to work, why isn't it working now? Is my Lume Pad, has it just lost its value, you know?
Yeah.
I would imagine multiple trouble tickets would get more attention.
Okay.
I agree, and I also wouldn't. I'm not that hopeful based on what Nima said about the status of the Lume Pad. He was on the New York show, and
Yeah, I
wasn't
heard
too hopeful. Yeah. So,
And so, but you know, it's basically, I mean, it used to work. Right. Something broke. Maybe they can just put it back the way it was. I mean, I don't know, but
is there
more
any
trouble
option to
tickets.
regress the operating system, use the old version, or is it too integrated?
It's actually just the Leia Tube app. It was updated a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago, I want to say. And the Leia Tube app actually still works, but the performance is degraded for half-width side-by-side live streams, which seems to me like they weren't considering that. And obviously they didn't test for that when they released this latest update. They didn't specify why they updated the app. It may have something to do with something changing on YouTube side. They didn't tell us that information. So I think, though, that if we all file tickets, as Jay suggested, it might rattle some cages and put them on notice. I agree. The Lume Pad is a lot less useful for me without this feature. It was sort of the main thing that I used it for. So let's all, everyone who was using the Lume Pad to watch our live streams, go ahead and file a ticket. The ticket that I filed has already been closed. We had some correspondence back and forth, and then they said, well, we'll get back to you, and they closed the ticket, and of course never got back to me.
so you should file your own complaint and ask them to either reopen that ticket or create a new ticket. To close a ticket without fixing it, that isn't really
Right, right. Well, and yeah, I'm not going to speculate about what's happening.
It feels
there,
like a
but
bad sign.
yeah, let's all go ahead and file a ticket on the website, and we'll see where it leads us. I think that's all that we can do.
Before we start on the slideshow, I'm looking at the YouTube feed, and it's very slightly off center. I'm seeing the center line on the left side of the screen.
Let me see. Yes, I see that. Let me see if I can adjust that. There we go. Okay, I think... Tor, let me know if that fixes itself in 20
I
or
will.
30 seconds or so. If not...
That's better. It still needs to jog over a little more. That's the
probably
wrong
going to
direction.
shake around a little bit.
Yeah, that's too far to the right. You need to go to the left, or whatever is the opposite of what you just did.
Okay, let me see if I can... Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, I think I got it. No?
All right.
Huh. Let me play with these properties here.
And do you have the slides available for download?
They are available for download. The links are in the chat.
Okay.
Also, I'm
Oh,
only
I see.
seeing a maximum 720p on the YouTube feed.
Okay,
But that might be the because I'm interlaced.
Let's see.
Something just changed because
Yeah, I'm working to get this fixed now. Let's see. Okay, there's my half width, and oh, well, I hope we didn't lose our side-by-side half-width feed tonight. All right, sorry about that. Give me just a minute here. There we go, and let me see if I can center this. Oh, I think it's actually scaled. There we go. Okay. Okay, Tor, I think that will fix it.
We're still off center.
Let me know in 20 seconds or so while it catches up.
Okay.
In the meantime, I am going to start the slideshow.
That looks good. Or,
It's still moving around for me a little
yes.
bit. How's that?
That works. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. For tonight's slideshow, we have 23 images, which is fantastic. I have randomized the order instead of grouping them together. So we will start off by one from Bob Bloomberg. Bob, are you here?
Yes, I
Hey,
am.
welcome. Good evening. For those who are following along on one of our YouTube streams, there's going to be a 10 to 20 second delay. And so, Bob, whenever you're ready, we are looking at Art Lovers Havana.
Nice.
Oh, and am I sharing my screen? I did not share my screen.
Nope.
That's the problem.
See the ghost door.
I'm just kind of out of it tonight, I guess. Okay, here we go. So for those who are following along on Zoom, I am now finally sharing my screen. You'll see the full width side-by-side version. Bob, you able to see it now?
Yeah, I'm just previewing. I cannot locate my Lume Pad, so
Okay. Well, we were just complaining about the Lume Pad, so you're not missing out on
yeah,
much.
right. No, I took this shot in a museum in Havana that frowned upon the use of cameras, but I had my phone with me, and this couple was sitting admiring this painting. So I snuck a cha-cha from pretty far away. And I've had my way with it a bit with the elements in the painting.
Yeah, I see you pulled the island and the cloud forward.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Is that a Magritte?
I felt it
Nice.
looked, I don't think it is. These are artists who are obviously influenced by other artists. There were a lot of familiar looking subjects in the museum that kind of echoed. And this one definitely spoke to Magritte.
Yeah. Bob, this
Yeah.
is really nice. I think you're channeling Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, well, it had a lot of things going for it for me. I like the composition. I love her hat, the way it ties in with the painting. They have a whole series. I love following people around in museums and waiting for the right person to stand in front of the right painting.
It's very nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's beautiful, Bob. Thank you. I love how the couple is centered, but the bench is off center.
It's very pleasing. The floor is slightly forward of the window, but that's not anything anybody offered teachers.
Yeah, I wanted to get that bench as close to the window as
Yeah.
possible. It doesn't bother me that much when things like floors and grounds,
Yeah.
as long
Or
as
when you
there's
have a
nothing.
human subject and you converse on the subject. Yeah. Oh, very nice.
Thanks.
Lovely. Thank you, Bob. Jay, you're up next with Santa Rex.
Yeah. There's a hotel nearby in New York City. Just went by it. Just cancel. Sorry.
Glad they got it behind bars.
Okay. Yeah, animatronic, so I actually have video of it moving. And just wait for an expression and took a lot of pictures. So this one had the hat. Yeah, just neat dinosaur picture.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Of course, the current thinking is they would have feathers.
Mm-hmm. Old-fashioned dinosaur.
Yes.
And
I'll take a
taken
tail
with
dragger any day.
taken with a Lume Pad.
It's got quite a bit of
That's it.
depth. You must have been pretty close to this dinosaur.
Yeah, you could just get right up there and touch it.
Is this
As a
dinosaur
hotel
always
lobby.
there? Is it
I'm
always
sorry?
there?
I love that it looks like he's been captured and put in a cage there.
Yeah, I have some pictures where you see the rest of the cage.
My only suggestion might be just cloning out that top little piece of black that's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, hop a bit closer. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just trim that top edge by 10 pixels or so, or however many it is. My eye does get caught on that.
You just paint it out.
Yeah, I might. I'll probably have a different view next week. Or save it for through the window.
I was going to suggest getting rid of the smudge on the wall, but it's on my iPad. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's right. Next month's special subject is Through the Window. And this is Through the Window. That's great, Jay. Thank you very much. Next is one by me. This is clothes racks at the Alameda Point Antiques Fair. And I've shown quite a few of these over the past few months. I took this in October. And as you'll recall, I was shooting mirrors at the Alameda Antiques Fair. And I was extremely happy with the results. And I took a lot of them, so many that I'm still showing them. And that's really all I have to say about this.
This is with the Lume?
This is with the X-Reel Beam Pro.
Okay.
The Kill Bill shirt adds another dimension.
Commentary.
I thought about titling it Kill Bill, but I would never look for that if I was trying to remember this photo.
You could just put the club logo on there.
I don't know, adds some drama to it. The women looking at him and maybe giving him a wide berth.
Yeah, it does appear that the woman who is reflected in the mirror is gazing at this person, and I'm not sure if this person was actually trying on the clothes or just browsing the clothes. And yeah, the light's kind of funny. I think I was shooting into the light, which is why it's kind of desaturated except for the figures in the mirror, which had the more flattering light. So you'll be seeing more of these. I'm not done yet. But I think that's it for tonight, fortunately. Steve, you're up next. This is Buenos Aires Floating Restaurant.
Okay. Yes, I was on a trip. The reason I wasn't at the last meeting is we did some traveling, and this week and next week you'll see. That's all I posted. This is just taking a walk from a hotel there, and I didn't have my 3D camera, so I just took a cha-cha, my phone, and it didn't really have to do anything to the water. It seemed like it was working. You can tell me if it isn't. There was
good.
thanks. There was a piece of railing that was kind of sticking out. The left of the railing that's there that I painted that out.
If you want to get ambitious, you might try just painting out that entire center rail.
I kind of like it. You know, it is poking us in the face, but I kind of like the extreme symmetry of it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I kind of like it too. Although I think the circles are what really
that's
pays
what
off.
sells it.
And yeah, so it might actually be easier to look at without it.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with the near point of that middle rail. It may just be my freeviewing, but
so maybe that's another argument for Tor's suggestion.
Because I think you have enough detail on the floor to just make it flat.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could without too much effort.
No, I
match
mean,
the lines
yeah,
in
I don't
there.
think you'd even have to make any parallax changes because the shadows are on either side of the rail. Oh no, there is some you'd have to do. The rails occluding them in the right eye. But
I
yeah,
would,
wouldn't
yeah,
be
I'm not
hard.
sure exactly what you mean, because I mean, you're talking,
The shadow of the wires and the arches on the ground that makes the texture on the gray floor. You almost wouldn't have to do anything besides paint out the rail, but there is some detail you'd have to paint back in the right eye because the rail is in front of the distant
yeah.
shadows.
Oh, I guess you're right. Those are shadows.
Yeah,
I was thinking they were like
tiles.
tiles.
And they're only on the right chip. So I don't know. For me, it's bothersome. I'm getting some serious vibration and anomalies trying to look at it. But again, I'm free viewing off the iPad.
Yeah, on the TV, the edge of that rail is yeah poking us. But I love the arches.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
And what's
definitely
that in the
one
back? Is
worth
that a
keeping.
bridge or
Yeah, that's a footbridge. It's fairly
okay?
new. I think it was constructed 2 years ago.
Yeah, because
It's kind of
that's all the
interesting.
off symmetry you need is that little spike there. Everything else can be square.
Yeah, I like the design of that bridge. It's kind of ironic. We saw a tango show the night that night before, and then we went for a walk, and then there were some tango dancers just dancing on that bridge, and I recognized one of them from that show, and we talked to her.
Well, this is a
They do
great
that a lot
subject.
in Buenos Aires. There's a lot of people dancing the tango.
It's their thing.
This one would definitely be a contender for like a best 3D effect type subject in a competition.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's a lot of fun. Did you do any rotation or anything to it? It looks like it's, generally level. There's a bit of a sort of a fisheye effect, which is what you'd expect from a smartphone. Nothing objectionable.
Um, Boy, I do that so frequently. I seem to have a lot of difficulty keeping my phone perfectly level. So I quite often do that in Stereo
Yeah.
Photo Maker. As I remember, this one was pretty straight. It's pretty good out of the box. But it's such a rote thing for me. I don't even think about it now. I'll just straighten out the horizon.
Part of your workflow.
Yeah.
The X-Real Beam Pro has a handy, well, I don't have my X-Beam with me right now. It has a level which can be handy. Of course, you can still fix rotation in Stereo Photo Maker, but I've been leaning on that quite a bit. Very nice, Steve.
Affinity has an easy to use tool. It's just a line you draw. And depending on whether it's, mostly up and down or mostly horizontal, it will make that line perfectly horizontal.
You can show us that in the workshop that I'm going
I
to
can do
draft you to
that.
do.
I can do that.
All right. Thank you, Steve. That's lovely.
Thanks.
Incidentally, I see that there are some new faces here. Welcome, everybody. I forgot to mention, and I usually forget to mention this, there are multiple ways to view this slideshow in 3D, and there are links that are in the chat, which I put in. If you don't see them, let me know. You can let me know in the chat, and I'll repost them. Additionally, I am keeping an eye on the chat, so if you have any questions or comments, you can participate in our discussion, or you can type them in the chat, and I will share them with the group. Let's move on to one by Melinda. Hello, Melinda.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Yes, we're looking at Marina Sunrise 2024 12/25.
Yeah, this is interesting because longtime members will have seen many dozen marina sunsets of mine, but never any sunrises because I am never awake for them. But this one was so loud it woke me up. It was this bright red light coming through my drapes that woke me up. I knew it was some amazing colors out there. I took a peek. It was amazing. So I ran up to the roof to grab these snaps. And wow, yeah, it was just such a spectacular sunrise. So it's my first stereo sunrise.
Nice.
And it was interesting in a couple of other ways too. It's I guess the winds tend to be a lot quieter by morning, so the clouds were not really moving at all. So I think the parallax I got from like a stereo base of about 10 feet was enough to actually show you some parallax in the clouds. You can tell that the clouds on the right hand edge are closer than the city skyline on the left, and just features that I don't really see in sunsets. So yeah, it was just a very notable sunrise.
Beautiful.
I think I'm actually getting better depth out of the clouds in pseudo, and with this shot, I think you'd be able to isolate the horizon and keep that and left right and make the sky right left.
Yeah, in pseudo, I think it works. I think it works really well with the upper half of the sky.
The rays emerge properly in pseudo.
Right. But the lower half looks wrong.
Yeah.
So, and the lower half looks correct, or more like I remember. But I agree that
you might be able to isolate the silhouetted skyline and pull it forward.
Oh,
so all the clouds are behind the skyline.
Oh, I'm sure that's possible, but I'm not sure that the shape of the clouds altogether in pseudo looks warped and wrong to me. But that could also just be that the clouds really did move enough to matter, and they moved in some way that makes it look unnatural for clouds. So I'm not really sure what's correct, what happened, what's really possible, but this was kind of the best I could do.
Well,
but feel free to fool around with it if you want. I can give you the high res version as well if you like.
Might just. But yeah, great opportunity.
Yeah, it's such a spectacular sunrise. I was really astounded.
Yeah, there's not much change in the cloud structure. There certainly isn't the kind of distortion that you get with cha-chas in like windy environments.
Yeah, mostly you'll notice that on the left side, the clouds and the cityscape are at the same depth, and on the right side, you can see the clouds are definitely behind the buildings. So and those and the buildings on the right side are much closer to me than the cityscape on the left. So does kind of make sense. That's what makes me think that maybe it is close to the correct parallax, but then there is that big difference with the upper clouds, so I don't really know what's going on.
It looks like vertically things are aligned properly, so the clouds, I guess, weren't moving towards you or away from you. I'm not getting a lot of like rivalry in the two views. Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment. Did you run between exposures to prevent the clouds from moving too much?
No, I mean I moved quickly, but I wasn't worried about the time, mostly because I couldn't see any motion in the clouds at all, so it didn't really seem to matter. Maybe it did in the end, but the first thing I do is always figure out what direction the clouds are moving, so that I can move the camera against their movement. And so maybe they moved in some strange way, or I chose badly. I don't really know.
I don't think you did anything badly in this one. It's definitely got a depth effect.
I could also crop away the stuff at the top, but
Well,
I wonder if I could put both of them together.
does anyone see any distortion or any problems near the top of the image? I don't.
Well, it's the rays that Tor was saying. If you switch it to pseudo, then those rays will be clearly lower than that bank of clouds that they overlap with. So it looks, the top half of the sky looks more correct in pseudo. The bottom half looks more correct as you see it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, if you want to play with it and show us another version, we'd love to see it.
Yeah, I might try, and I'll definitely send the originals to Tor and anybody else that wants it.
Yeah, it might even be possible to do a soft split and just pseudo the top third of the picture.
That's what I was thinking of. But why don't you take a stab at it?
Yeah.
And we'll see what you come up with, and if you don't try that, or then maybe I will.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Amanda. And welcome, Peter Sinclair. Just saw you pop in. Next is a stereo photo by Bob Bloomberg. This is Brown Beach Mushrooms.
Very nice. Just dive right in there.
Seems appropriate for your special. What did you call it? For
mergers. I was
things that don't look like much in 2D.
Mm.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just wallpaper in 2D.
So the term mergers comes from Oleg's 3D is Different article, which is posted on our website. And it's definitely worth a read if you haven't already. It's actually the article that inspired me to take a more stereo-focused approach to our special challenge for 2025. And yeah, I think Tor put it best. Was it you, Tor, who just said this is just wallpaper without without the 3D?
If you look at it with one eye, it's just a bunch of circles.
There's just a bunch of mushrooms, yeah.
And you can't really see the bunch that's sticking and ahead of over the rest of them. Yeah.
Bob, are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't mean to take over your comments. What would you like to say about this one?
Okay. Yeah, this was I actually shot this 1 or 2 days ago at Whole Foods. No, not Whole Foods, Good Earth.
Might want to crop a little off the left.
Yeah,
right eye,
I
there's
have
bit
a
of the
different
fin or
version
something.
that I had cloned that little section on the right chip, left edge out. So I'm thinking this the 3D looks the same. Yeah, no, I need to either crop it or clone it.
Recenter. Was this natural light?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Cha-Cha?
Yeah. I took about 3 or 4. So I may have one with even more depth, but I like the way this looked. It had a natural feel to it. And I love these mushrooms. They're just,
It reminds me of that movie Fantastic Planet.
yeah. Or Fantasia.
I just put a link in the chat to the article that I just mentioned where I was inspired to have a mergers subject, which isn't for a few months now. But this is a perfect example. And if you haven't read that already, I definitely recommend it. All right, thank you, Bob.
Sure. My
Jay,
pleasure.
you're up next. We've got Clean Up Your Toys or You Are Next. We've got a couple dinos here.
Yeah. Yeah, when I saw I had one where the kid was actually looking, that title came to me, and that's the main reason for the submission. Here, Chicago, I think Natural History Museum. Yeah, that's it. Leopard. And oh,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
The kid's foot seems to be sticking forward unnaturally. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't do any manipulation, so might just be a Leo artifact.
yeah, it's possible.
Or an illusion. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, of course, on the Lume Pad, the synchronization is pretty much perfect, right? It wouldn't be that
Yeah.
the kid was kicking really fast and there was a synchronization error. I don't think that would be.
Yeah, I don't think the kid was really moving around fast. Yeah.
It must be just be an illusion.
We considered cropping it so that the sign isn't part of it. You might have to scoot her over just a little bit, but
I thought the sign was, be a good part of it.
Might want to darken the sign.
yeah, it's just so
Okay.
bright it kind of draws your eye away.
Okay.
And I was just cropping it in my mind, and then it
Hmm.
focused more on the dinosaur with her photographing it and the father and son looking at it. My eye was drawn
Yeah.
to that sign.
I think darkening it might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Well, I think the kid's expression is really what makes this photo. It's that uncertainty.
Does seem concerned.
He's clinging on to dad or grandpa there pretty securely. So, Jay, you've shown us a dinosaur in New York and dinosaurs in Chicago. Is that right?
I thought I'd keep the theme.
Okay.
Those pesky dinosaurs are everywhere.
And was this a Lume Pad shot as well?
Yeah. Yes.
When you're out shooting with your Lume Pad, do you have the opportunity to show people your shots on the
Yeah.
auto stereo screen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the usual reaction, if they can see 3D, they're usually like, wow. And some people just don't know what they're seeing.
Mhm.
Just a shout out to Alan. I showed Alan my Lume Pad yesterday at the Internet Archive, showed him a few of our restored Andrew J. Russell shots. So, Alan, if you're wondering what we're talking about this Lume Pad, it's that tablet that I showed you yesterday, that 3D tablet. And
Thanks. Yeah.
a lot of us have them.
Good.
Thank you, Jay. I think I'm up next.
Interesting.
Oh, go ahead.
Interesting reaction I've gotten from several people looking at the pad, see it in 3D, and they ask me, "Oh, do you need to wear glasses to see it in 3D?"
They know they're seeing something.
Yeah.
I guess we've trained the world on that connection
Mm-hmm.
between the glasses and the depth, one way or another.
I mean, I'm sure we've all seen
Polarized
people take a pair of 3D glasses, put them on, and just look at the real world and say, wow, everything's in 3D now.
enhanced 3D, maybe. All right, thank you, Jay. This is by me, and the title is Hugs and Kisses. And I think that's the message that's being spelled here. I took this last month in December, and this is in the city. I don't know what this part of the city is called. It's the former site of the temporary Transbay terminal. That doesn't help anybody, I'm sure, but now it's sort of a public space, and they were playing a 49ers game on the giant screen that you can see in the background. But I was really happy with this one. I like the light. I like the color that the light picked up in these sort of iridescent inflatable structures. And I wish it was a little more hyper. I shot this with my Sonys, and the cameras were maybe 3.5 inches apart. I didn't really pay close attention, but otherwise I'm happy with it.
Great subject.
Are they the same shape?
Yeah. Yeah, they're just one's facing us and one's sideways, but the same
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I just realized that.
And they were setting up these inflatable structures for an after dark event. So I'm not sure if they were lit up or not, but I think I got them at a good time. This was just around sunset.
Yeah, the iridescence is beautiful.
Take that, the bean.
All right, thank you. Let's see. Oleg, we've got one by you coming up here. This is 360 at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
Yeah, this was on my trip to Chile, and that airport had the floor was reflective, so I got a lot of pictures of that. and I was hoping to do the same thing at in San Francisco and Atlanta, but they just had rugs, so you didn't get the reflections.
It looks like you got three distinct sight lines into this one.
Yeah, it's a good subject for getting people. But like I say, the San Francisco airport, the floor isn't. It's just dirty rugs.
Yeah, there are three distinct corridors for my eyes to travel down. It's a bit soft. Was this a handheld shot?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
handheld.
might have been a little bit of motion in this. I'm guessing must have been a fairly low light environment.
Yeah. I had my tripod with me, but did not want to set it up.
Well, and of course, I'm critiquing just one of the views. When they're combined, that extra resolution does seem to enhance the sharpness. It looks very sharp on the anaglyph stream, for whatever that's worth. That's very nice. Thank you, Oleg. Now, I did randomize tonight's slideshow, but we have two coming up by Melinda, just because the subjects are so fascinating. And the first one is Sol 209, Perseverance rover drills into a rock.
Yeah, so I did a bunch of Mars stereograms a long time ago, mostly during the when the Spirit rover was operating. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah.
That was my favorite rover for a long time, and mostly because it was in a kind of interesting area. But then I kind of lost interest, and only recently was mentioned to me that the Perseverance rover has some decent cameras on it. So I went and looked in the raw image archive on the NASA website, and sure enough, it's got a couple of nice cameras for what's called the Mastcam Z cameras, and there are a couple more stereo pairs for navigation and things. I haven't even looked at those, but I think this is the best one for stereograms. Nice full color images. Most of my other ones were all black and white and pretty low res. These are 1645 by 1200, I think. And it takes a bit of poking around in the archive and getting used to the really slow web interface. But you can find these images, put together image pairs, and do the stereo thing with them. Works pretty well. It's still rare to find a really good photogenic stereo pair. This is by far the best that I have found yet, because it works well as a stereogram as well as being a record and a good image. the image quality was really good, so it was pretty easy to work with too. So it's a good find, and you'll see another one that I did as well. I am getting bored of Mars again. It's the same features over and over. Maybe someday
You heard
we'll
about that's why the helicopter crashed, right?
well, because
It
it was
couldn't
over.
distinguish any landmarks. The area it was over was so uniform, it couldn't
Right,
figure
it
out
was
its
just
location.
over sand dunes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a shame. There are actually some stereo pictures of the of the helicopter thing. Which while it's on the ground, maybe I should go and try to find some images of that. But it's hard to find good good imagery, but it's a fun kind of found stereo to go through these rover archives looking for stereo subjects. I encourage everybody to do it. It's just search for Perseverance raw images, and you'll go right there. Check it out. It's fun. It's fun. It feels like you're there. You get a little poking around, and it starts to feel like a place that you recognize.
Oh yeah.
it's funny. I'm obsessing over that bit of the manipulator arm in the lower left corner, trying to figure out exactly what angle the camera was looking at past the machine. That appears to be the E and V of Perseverance on the arm.
I don't remember what's written on it, but there is more writing that ended up getting cropped out.
Well, I am consulting my Lego model, which has the decals representing, so that is the E and V of Perseverance printed on the arm.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, and I did have to take some liberties with that. It's the reason it's out of focus is because it's much closer to the camera than it appears.
I was going to ask if you pushed it back.
Yeah, good eye. Yeah, I did. I had to clone it from the one side where it exists to the other side where it wasn't, because the stereo was so extreme it didn't work at all. And then I did need. I was going to just sort of crop it out or paint it out, and then I realized, I can just copy it and then just adjust the depth so it's not too extreme. Yeah, exactly. So it's there. It's in the image. It's not where it appears to be, but yeah, it is. It is part of the rover, and that does give a little more. It adds to the story.
I remember when we got the stereo views from the Viking probes years
ago. Oh, I didn't even know that there were any. Wow.
The Viking probes had two cameras, but they were about 10 feet apart. And so you only got stereo at just about approaching infinity. And up close, there was like a landing leg on one side and a gas tank on the other side. And there was just complete garbage in the foreground.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't a rover either, so there's probably only a couple of opportunities for any kind of decent stereogram.
One view.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta look that up now. That's.
Yeah.
It's
in the old Amazing 3D book. If you have that lying around.
No, I don't know about that.
I do have that lying around.
Yeah. It's one of the last images in the book, and it's a really fuzzy anaglyph, but it's there.
Yeah, they're still arguing about whether it found life.
I'll show off Amazing 3D after the conclusion of the slideshow, but I am looking now. So Melinda, these aren't posted on the raw image archive as stereo pairs. This is more like found stereo.
No, this is totally found stereo. I mean, they were shot using a stereo pair of cameras, but you don't always find a matching pair for every image from the Mastcam Z camera pair.
Got it.
So
Yeah, I think the cameras on the Master are about a foot and a half apart, maybe 2 feet apart.
they are pretty wide. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty tall rover. And this was like a perfect distance. I don't know what it is, but it's probably like, well, I don't think it's more than like 6 feet away, but maybe it is. I don't.
And
Even at 6 feet, that would be too wide. I don't know why it's working.
I don't recall seeing rocks layered like this in any of the other Mars shots.
Yeah, you can
Really
see why they-
gorgeous. I love the
Yeah.
stacking of it. It's just hypnotic. And the fact that we're looking at something on Mars is just floors.
I know it is magical. Yeah, and this was it landed in an ancient lake bed, and these are strata from sediments that got laid down. So these are features of the ancient lake bed.
Well, let's look at another Mars shot because Melinda submitted 2. The next one is Sol 467. Perseverance rover finds litter.
Yeah, so it's actual litter on Mars. This was unexpected. I think some operators must have been pretty surprised for a while when they first saw this. But they pretty quickly figured out that this is a bit of a thermal blanket from the lander, and that I guess got ripped off, blown off, or whatever. But this was like 2 kilometers away from where they landed, so this is not the landing site. They just happened to see this bright thing and kind of zoom in on it or drive toward it to figure out what it is. They quickly figured it out, but
That's funny.
yeah, there's litter blowing around on Mars. I posted it on Reddit too, and it made some people angry that we're trashing up another planet. Yeah, I kind of get it. I understand that.
It's what we do.
It is what we do, and it is kind of what we need to do. So I feel it, but I understand too. We're gonna make it around. That's what we do. That's fine.
It lends a little urban reality to Mars.
Yeah, it's not quite so pristine anymore.
Doesn't it look like it blew there?
Oh, I'm sure it blew there. Yeah. In fact, there's some more pictures of it, and you can see that it's a slightly different shape in one of the other images. So like one of the corners, like blew up or blew down or something like that. So it's a dynamic place that the litter may not be there anymore. But it's surprising for having such a thin atmosphere that wind is such a feature of the place.
I just did an experiment. I'm streaming on Twitch. I put the link in the chat, and it seems to be decent quality on the Lume.
Yeah, I saw that, Jay, and I'm looking at your stream on my computer in the web browser. How are you viewing it on the Lume Pad? Are you using? Is there a Twitch
Yep.
app? Or are you
Yeah, I
using
just did. I opened it in the browser on the Loom and did the share. On um, the address bar, you got the three dots, and you could click share and share it to the link.
All right. That is worth investigating. Thank you, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah, or you could just do in the layer tube, you could just do a direct URL, or it's got icons for the Twitch.
I'm going to try that right now. But before I do that, Jay, we have a photo by you to view. And it is a miniature room. This is a miniature?
Yes, Chicago Art Museum. There's like 60 of these tiny rooms, dollhouse size, and just really incredible detail. Forgot whether I used the front or rear camera of the layer pad.
So it's not a cha-cha, but it's a narrow base.
It's a fantastic exhibit.
Yeah, I want to go back with a big sheet of like velvet to block off the reflections.
Exactly. I did it. I went twice and went back, and I think I've shot most all of them. They're really incredibly detailed.
Where is this again?
This is at the Contemporary Art Museum in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's amazing is that the artist at this one, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but she's created not just the rooms, but you see doors opening onto the garden and the back porch, and those are done in incredible detail. And all of these are made by hand, every little piece, and chess set, and lamp, crystals.
Have you tried making any stereograms with a realistic stereo base to make them look normal sized?
I did some cha-chas, but the reflections just weren't good.
Does anybody know what the word is for this kind of display?
Diorama.
Yeah, diorama.
Diorama, that's it.
I ended up putting that, I think I shot a lot with the iPhone and put it right up to the glass. And what was wonderful is that some of the rooms, looks like a painting in the background, but they had mirrors. And so you'd get a little selfie of your head in the mirror of these rooms, like the Wizard of Oz in the background. It's just, it's wonderful.
Did the iPhone get the depth?
Yeah, I think so. I'll have to pull some out. Maybe I'll upload them next week, or not next week, but next month.
Something that adds to the realism to me of this diorama are the blown out windows in the back, having that bright light.
Also, the color, just the tint of that light reminds me of my grandmother's apartment. You know?
Well, and speaking of miniatures, Tor and Steve mentioned Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, fantastic little miniature sets throughout that film. Not in 3D,
stuff.
of course, but certainly should be.
I just run it through the Lume Pad.
Yeah, exactly.
In the old days, we'd get a Viewmaster reel.
That's right. Steve, I do have my ViewMaster reel of A Bug's Life that I bought whenever A Bug's Life was released. So that's how I got my 3D Bug's Life.
Yeah, I think that was 99.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it's earlier. I think maybe that's right. Because there's Toy Story, then Bugs Life, then Toy Story 2. Wasn't Toy Story
Right.
2 closer to 99?
I'm just thrilled the penguin is back.
Yes. That's my favorite
Or the
joke.
rooster, whatever we want to call him.
Yes, but my favorite sight gag in the Wallace and Gromit is reading a book, and it's a penguin book.
Oh.
It's a teeny tiny detail.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's so
Now I forget. It was the Wallace and Gromit movie in 3D?
It is not, no.
It is not. Okay.
The Pirates is in 3D.
Yes.
The Pirates Band of Misfits. That's an Aardman film, feature film.
Yeah, none of the Wallace and Gromit films, unfortunately, were released in 3D.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jay, and it looks like Herb is also having the same good experience with Twitch. I'm using your Twitch stream on my Lume Pad, and it is sharp. It's everything that I expected the YouTube stream to be. So,
So we have a workaround.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll just add a third stream. 2 YouTube streams and a Twitch stream. I'd want to keep the YouTube half-width side-by-side stream for 3D TVs. Keep the anaglyph stream, and we might just throw this into our toolbox. I'm not sure. My computer is pretty much maxed out. Its memory is maxed out right now. So I don't think I could have a third stream. However, I'm going to be upgrading my computer this year, so it's definitely doable.
This also service is probably not worth it, where it'll just resend it out to all of the streaming services. But I could always like one of you off mine.
Well, I'm very glad to see this option. This might solve our problem. And this is how I'm going to be watching the rest of the slideshow. Thank you, Jay. An excellent photo and an excellent suggestion. Steve, you're up next with Nightclub Lights.
So I mentioned the Tango Club, and this is it. This is a singer announcer. There's actually quite a lot of variety in this show that we went to. Not just tango. There was a comedy routine, all in Spanish, of course, and there was various kinds of dancers, some acrobats. I got a guy who did like something similar to a yo-yo. This picture, they kept swinging the lights around, and by the time I snapped the picture, it was somewhere else, but I managed to get this one where it was aimed at me. There was a person's head in the way, and painted it out. I'm still amazed because this was my first pass on it, and I thought, wow, I think it actually worked. So normally I have to try it a couple times, but anyway, I mean, I know his face is really washed out, but I thought, well, he's in the light, so there you go.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, I love those light rays.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's hard to get.
I think I can see where your paint out is on the wall on the left.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to mention that because when I looked at it on the TV, then I noticed that, there was a guy's arm sticking out. And actually, it had some depth, but it was distracting. So I painted it out, and I just didn't have time to, once I noticed it, I didn't think I had time to fix it. So I just let it go. So there you go. Yeah, you have good depth perception.
Yeah. No, I love when you have a light that's a little brighter in one eye than the other. It adds a lot of realism to the shot.
Oh, so you get a little retinal rivalry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
When lights
illumination
shine
looks
through
really
trees or
natural on his face. It's exactly what I would expect to see.
Yeah. No, should send this to the guy and have it can be his album cover.
But they'd have to print it lenticular.
Lenticular, right.
I would insist on that.
Well, the Rolling Stones did it.
Yeah, it's been done.
It's a pretty terrible album, but it's a fair lenticular cover.
Well, you know, they kind of subvert the 3D effect by having change. I think the costumes change, don't they, from one view to the other?
No, it's a 3D. I'm looking at it on my wall right now.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different album.
It's a bit too complex. It's not a really fully successful lenticular. It's very ambitious. I actually exhibited a photo of it back in, it was when I was in school. When was that? 3 years ago, something like that. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail about something that we can't see, but the album is the Rolling Stones, their Satanic, what is it?
Satanic Majesty's Request.
Their Satanic Majesty's Request. Thank you, Tor. Yes, that's it. Not a hard album to find, but you will pay a premium for the lenticular cover, which is too small. Doesn't fit the album, but let's focus on Steve's masterful shot here instead of something that the Stones did in the 60s.
Well, thank you, Matt.
Very successful, Steve.
Thanks. Yeah, I got a couple of good ones. I mean, it was really dark in there, so, and they're moving so fast, so I've got a lot of blurry shots that have pretty good depth, but just too blurry to submit. So, anyway, this one's lucky. He's more or less standing still.
And W3 shot, I presume? Fuji W3?
Yes, definitely. The trusty W3.
Any special settings, or is this just program auto or whatever that auto
It was
setting
auto, yeah. I've tried special settings, but it takes me too long to make those adjustments. So maybe I have to do it more, then it'll be second nature. But when I've tried, I've really lost some pictures. Crucial moments have passed while I'm trying to get the setting. So I've pretty much resolved. I'm just gonna let the auto, and if I need to correct it, I'll correct it in post.
And I think that approach definitely worked in this case.
Yeah, lucked out.
Very nice. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Oleg, you're up next. We have Fruit Stand at Puerto Octe, if I said that correctly.
Yeah, this is in Chile. And sometimes it gets very colorful. So I like to take pictures there.
Yeah, you've got those great reds and oranges and a little bit of pink in there too.
So Oleg, I guess you and I were both in South America. getting our 3D on.
Yeah, you were in
With the
Buenos
peop
Aires, Steve, and Oleg was in Chile.
Yeah.
with the people on the left shot at the same time as the man.
Yeah, I had my tripod set up and I waited until the people I wanted to fill in the picture arrived. And this is the best one. Must have taken about 10 pictures from that spot.
Was this somewhere near where you were staying? Is this somewhere that you were? Was this a destination for you?
It was, no, this was not where we stayed. It was a day trip from my cousin's house. It's about a 1 hour drive from there.
Okay. I think those overhead lines add a lot to the composition as well.
And it's shadow.
Indeed, yeah. They almost form an archway. Very nice. Thank you, Oleg. So this is mine. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I took this yesterday at the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is housed in the former Church of Scientology building. Is it on what is on Funston Street in the city? And the main theater is, I guess, the original church. It's quite large. The seating are church pews. And inside this theater are these half-scale or third-scale figures. I forget the story behind these. I believe they represent people who work at the Internet Archive, but there are a lot of them. And I was kind of hoping Evan would be here to explain that to me. It's kind of eerie, and when I was testing the projectors, Evan had to run off to a meeting and left me alone in the space with these characters, so I was compelled to photograph them. I don't really know what else to say about them. Shooting into the light, I chose this one. I like the way the shadows were sort of radiating out, added a bit of depth. X-Real Beam Pro, not a great camera in low light. I really had to bump up the exposure and the shadows in Photoshop, which introduced some color noise, but whatever, it's really more of a snapshot.
It's such a funny feeling to walk into that room. No one is in the room, and yet you feel like the room's crowded
Indeed,
by,
yes.
by silent observers.
And some of them are very lifelike. They're just small.
Yes.
Okay, Jay has posted in the chat the explanation that I needed, and it says, let's see, located in the Great Room, that's what it's called, over 120 clay statues of current and previous Internet Archive employees and collaborators. General policy has been to create a statue for employees after 3 years tenure. Okay. There's quite a bit of information in the chat. Thank you, Jay, for sharing that. And if we have an event or more than one event at the Internet Archive, everyone here will be able to see them. All right. Bob, you're up next. We have Window Santo Domingo.
Whoa. Okay, well, I missed one part of that.
It looks like a part of this window is actually through the window. Am I seeing that right?
I think that's what's going on. Yes.
Yeah, I've been this is a work in progress. I've just noticed in previewing this here that left edge is back a little too far. I think it would work if that came forward a bit.
Let's see, the left. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's a pretty cool effect. That's a nice kind of a surreal effect where like an edge of something is actually farther away than the other edge that should be touching it. I think Salvador Dali did some experiments like that, playing around with distorting the 3D.
Yeah, that's a really interesting effect, maybe an unintentional effect. I thought it was correct when I first saw it. Oh, looks like we lost Bob. He's popping back on.
Oh, I don't know what happened there.
Looks like you got kicked off for a second.
Yeah.
We were.
No, I've been working on this. This was a 2D shot that I took that I'm trying to convert to 3D, and I neglected that left edge. But I was curious if the rest of it worked. I wasn't going to say anything until I had a chance to have it viewed.
The tower looks a little distorted to me. The edge that's going away from the edge that's not facing us.
I think it's two towers, one behind another.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Now, I did paint in some of the rooftop there, which might have introduced something. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, this edge of the window. I first ran it through Immersity 3D, and the edges of the window were just all over the place. But I think if I did a little bit more cutting and pasting and moving, I could make it work. Because I really like the composition, and I think the architecture lends itself for 3D.
Yeah, I think it's very successful.
Yeah, it pulled me too. My only note was the edges, and if you just pull the stereo window back a little, it's
I think I'm
pretty
wondering
much
if it'll
perfect.
work with just that left edge, not the part that's reflecting the sun outside, but just the far left edge on both the left and right. I thought I'd already done that. This may be an earlier version. I've been working on it. So.
You could improve it if you wanted to, or you could just leave it. It's not really objectionable. I was just a little annoyed by the rivalry.
Yeah, no, I'd have to fix that. I think if I just cut and paste the right edge onto the left, it's going to be basically right at the window, and I can move it.
Yeah, that's fine.
But the rest of it works for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, the part that's behind the window, the frame rather, is very successful.
Okay. Yeah, I'm bothered by the sky, but I need to work on that. But
Yeah, the architecture gives a lot of really helpful perspective cues. So
yeah, I did a lot of cutting, pasting, and skewing to get that
yeah.
right.
Very nice. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks.
Okay. Jay. More in Chicago. Sunday in the museum.
Yes. Yeah, just came across this couple getting pictures taken. Photographer was moving really fast. I really wanted to get more pictures of the photographer with the couple shooting, but wasn't to be. It was really neat seeing the picture up close. The details incredible. And
Love that scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where we just get so close that it's just dots.
yeah. Oh, I took some pictures like an inch away with macro cell phone.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, neat idea, and this was best picture, Lume Pad again. And I show them, and I think they just don't see 3D.
Probably busy gazing into each other's eyes. Captured a great moment here. Where was their photographer? Was the photographer to your side?
To the left of me.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
ahead. Yeah, I was definitely trying to stay out of the way. It's funny she had like a biker jacket on. Yeah, I could show you the picture next week.
I think you should.
Yeah.
I was going to say you could probably crop a little bit off the top, but I think I'm wrong because then you would lose the top of the painting, which you definitely
You
don't
need
want
that
to
door
do.
frame too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sight line.
Maybe shoot out that light in the upper left corner.
Yeah, that could be retouched out.
It does have a good amount of depth, considering the narrow base.
Yeah, I think it's the right distance.
Yeah. I think that this is the kind of photo that the Lume Pad camera, that the Red Hydrogen 1 camera is really designed to take. Photos of people, candid shots, not too far away. This is probably the Lume Pad camera's sweet spot. Fantastic illumination too. I don't see a little bit of motion blur, but I don't see the kind of blowouts that I'd expect in this sort of low interior light.
Yeah, just the natural museum lighting.
Yeah.
I could see why they chose it.
And very good color too. Very nice. Yeah, maybe just clone out that little light in the upper left. Oh, thank you, Jay. Steve, I might need you to pronounce the title of this for me. Ushuaia frigate? I
Jawa?
just guessed at that.
This is another cha-cha. So Buenos Aires is actually just a port for us on the way to Antarctica. And I think we'll be seeing some of those next week. Ushuaia is the southernmost city on Earth. It's in Argentina. It's at the tip of Argentina. So we flew from America to Houston, and then from Houston to Buenos Aires, and then we took a little charter plane to Ushuaia, and that's where we got on a cruise ship to go to Antarctica. Not this ship. This was just across on the other side of the dock from our ship, but it was really nice looking. So I took and the sky was, had nice clouds. So I just took a cha-cha of this frigate.
Love the detail in the rigging.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And on my TV, I'm seeing all the lines. I don't know if those read on a smaller screen.
Well, you're talking about on the ground?
No, the lines in the rigging.
I mean, I'm looking at a small image on my computer screen because, I look at the side by side with these mirror viewers, and I can see the rigging.
Yeah, it'll look great on my laptop. It's I'm glad you didn't try to like include the whole ship or something. It's there's plenty to look at on it. I love how it sort of fills the screen.
Thanks. Yeah, that's always a tough call, because if you go too wide, then you lose depth.
Yeah, it's a natural instinct, but I think this works much better.
I want to clone that flag.
Yeah, that's worth
Those clouds
fixing.
seem very fortunate that what they lend.
So, Steve, you're going to be showing us photos from Antarctica, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait to see those.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can't get close to the animals because they're kind of like protected. So it's hard to get really good depth. But there's some decent shots. I think my favorite shots are really the ones from Buenos Aires. But there's some good stuff coming up.
Yeah, that's very lucky. I'd love to get down there.
Yeah, and we went in our winter, which is their summer. So it's Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth, but it wasn't too bad. It was about 30 degrees. It did snow a couple times while we were there. In some spots, there was places where the snow had already melted. But we saw, lots of icebergs and stuff like that. And penguins.
Yeah, I just did a lot of research into early Antarctic exploration, so I'm really looking forward to your photos, Steve.
Yeah, it's not that hard to go there. I mean, as cruises go, I guess it's more expensive than the average, but it's something that we've always wanted to do.
Yeah, it is a destination.
So it's on the bucket list. We crossed off two continents because
Right.
we've never been to South America. So that's all of them. We've been to all of them.
And I got to add, what a great sky. And I love that mountain range.
Yeah, there's some really nice mountains, a lot of different kinds of snow.
We just don't get dramatic skies like this in the Bay Area. It's either foggy
We
or
do
it's
sometimes.
clear.
Actually, tonight when I was looking at Melinda's sunrise photo, it made me think of there was an actually really beautiful sunset tonight.
That is true.
Just tonight. I don't know if anybody. So you saw it, Matt. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took some snaps. It was lovely. It was unusual because the wind was coming from the east, which I guess is also created the Santa Anas, which are now causing the entire south of the state to burn. But it was
Yeah.
warm and interesting sky.
Yeah, my daughter's lost her electricity. She lives in Southern California.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
Yeah, we get some good skies, especially after a storm.
I should probably clarify that we never have good skies when I'm out with my cameras.
Well, of course not. Me neither.
Just
Except
some
here.
sort of law of nature.
It's not guaranteed. We got a couple of really spectacular shots, and several days there were just gray skies with no clouds in them, or just like one gigantic cloud.
Right.
So it didn't always look like this.
Well, you got this shot at the right time.
Yeah,
Great
I
opportunity.
lucked out.
Great subject. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, everybody.
Oleg, you're up next, and I'm probably going to need help with the pronunciation of this one as well. Looking aft on the Honopyren Leptipu ferry. How close was I?
I don't know what the correct
Okay.
pronunciation is.
We'll call that close enough.
Yes.
Nice.
I took a lot of pictures on the ferries. We had to go about 200 miles south of civilization, and lots of time to walk around and take pictures.
It's a very nice composition.
Yeah, some great possibilities in the subject. I love the people suspended overhead.
Everybody knows exactly where to stand.
And the light shining into the lower deck really sells it too.
Yeah. It's very dramatic.
Great shadows as well.
Yeah, great lighting, everything. Classical look.
Did you set up your tripod for this, Oleg?
No, I did it handheld.
Okay.
Yeah, with that kind of light, you really don't need it.
Yeah. Did you need to do any straightening or rotation or anything in Stereo Photo Maker?
Yeah, I always square up the pictures.
Yeah, it looks completely aligned to me.
It's quite easy to do. 15 minutes or so to get it lined up.
Oh, and you've got some really nice, I think those are reflections in the windows below
Yeah.
the deck where the most of the people are standing. There's definitely something interesting to look at in there. I could spend a lot of time with this one. It's lovely.
Yeah, these kind of pictures, you got to look in a big display, like a TV set.
In fact, yeah, I'm looking at this on my Lume Pad, and I just tried to zoom in, but unfortunately I can't. I really want to see this on my my 3D TV or something. Thank you, Oleg. Steve. Another one by you. This is Window Welcome.
So we're back to Buenos Aires. This is, yeah, I think it's the Carmenito section where the houses are painted multicolored. I mean, there may be 4 or 5 colors just within one house, or you might have one house a bright orange right next to a bright green. It's pretty spectacular. And then they put little sculptures on balconies and then coming out windows. So yeah, wish I had a little bit more time or equipment like Jay's pole for getting up high to get some of those shots. Because yeah, the place is spectacular, that area. But I don't have any really great pictures that show it off. I've got a few, but I just like the depth in this one.
That might not even be a real window.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Actually, I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't go inside here, but they also have tango dancers around the street here, and there's like a little river that runs alongside it, and cobblestones that lead to the river, and they're all painted different colors too. You can see them on Google. I don't have any pictures of that though.
It doesn't look like that window frame on the right would actually swing in to close that particular window. So I think there's an aesthetic choice happening somewhere.
Yeah, the whole thing could be fake and just stuck on a solid wall.
Yeah, nor is there any glass in this window, it appears. I think we would see some reflections, some stereo reflections. But this is a through the window, out the window composition. It's excellent subject for stereo.
Yes.
And yeah, I think I don't know if this would be improved if you mounted your W3 on a pole or something. I think you caught the eye line perfectly. It's almost as if this figure is looking right at me.
Yeah, I actually wasn't referring to this. There are quite a few others that when I saw them in person, like they're somewhere standing. They're these like paper mache figures, or they're probably not paper mache because they're outdoors and they have to be weatherproofed. But they're these figures that are standing on a balcony, and I took a bunch of pictures, and I just never had one that was exactly right. And I think if I could have gotten up on a ladder or something, I could have gotten those. This one I agree is it works from this angle because she's looking down. But there are others, and also it'd be really nice if I could get the houses next to it, because they are all different colors. So you can definitely Google. You just say Google Buenos Aires colorful neighborhood, and you can see. It's a very touristy area, but it's great.
Well, don't tell us about the shots you didn't get. Just show us the ones that you did, and we'll be impressed.
Yeah,
we are impressed.
Yeah, I think this one worked.
It's almost as if she's beckoning. Come on in.
That would see me sometime.
Yeah, right.
Another one of those classic lines that was not said exactly like that.
Right. Come up and see me.
Come up sometime and see me, I think she says.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Next, from Melinda, we have Wet Street.
Yeah, so this was a a very rainy evening. Just drove back into town and was admiring all the colorful reflections in the street. So I drove around the corner and parked and decided to wait for the right moment. So I waited till a red light, waited until these cars had all stopped for it, and then waited for the light to turn green. Then I jumped out of the car and squatted down and grabbed this one picture. Well, it was still raining pretty hard, but I didn't get as close as I wanted to because I was afraid of getting run over here. So I satisfied myself with just the one picture and got out of there. And I liked how the reflections turned out. That part is quite nice. I found that with a little bit of shadow highlights, I could make the rain show up. It's different in each eye, but that's okay. I think it makes it look as chaotic as it was.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. The stereo base is unfortunately narrow for the that's the H1, but so maybe I'm ready to get one of those X-Beam Pro cameras. This would have been, although you say it's not very good in low light, this would have been about the right separation for that camera.
It would probably do about the
So-
same as
You
your
got a lot of brightness there.
as your red in this light.
Yeah, I recommend you maybe try it. I think especially with the and the wide angle lenses, I think it would do really well with shots like this. But it needs to be raining hard to get these nice reflections.
I think you didn't need to get any closer. This is a perfect angle. I love the foreground, gives it the depth you need, and that white light reflection.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean the
Oh.
bottom half of the image is got some fair depth to it, but not the top half. But that's enough, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, the interest is all in the reflections.
Yeah, I'd been wanting to try this kind of wet street in the city kind of shot because I've seen so many other professional photographers get very dramatic pictures like that, and I've never seen it in 3D. So that was my chance.
You seem to have captured a trio of ghosts there as well.
Yeah, the street lights are out of the image in the top. There's some other stuff going on I don't quite understand.
Well, the way you were able to show the actual rain falling, making those adjustments was really effective also. That's kind of hard to do,
Oh, good.
to actually show rain. It must have really been pouring when you took the shot.
Yeah, it was raining pretty hard, and you can sort of well, I was going to say you could sort of see the ripples in the street, but maybe that's not exactly true. But it really helped to have the streets be that wet to get a good result. And the rain coming down, it was completely not there in the original image. I only discovered that when I decided to fool with shadow highlights. I mean, I liked the original dark exposure, but when I started bringing out more of the image, then I discovered the rain, and I didn't bring it out a lot, so it's sort of half there, half not. Um, so yeah, I discovered a lot as I started fooling around with the image.
It was there. It was just hidden.
Right. And I didn't expect to get raindrops. It's would be nice if they did show up in both eyes, but they seem to be. Well, maybe there is some correlation.
Oh, they're not causing any sort of like rivalry for me or anything. It's just sort of works like sort of like a fog or a haze or something. It just sort of fills in the space. Really nice. It would be a very dull picture if it wasn't wet. All right.
Thanks.
Oleg, we've got one more from you. This is back of Hornoprian welcome sign.
Yeah, that was one of the places where the ferry takes off. We were waiting for it to arrive. And I got this picture. Throughout, there's mountains, scenery backdrop anywhere you look in that part of Chile.
It's a great contrast. This colorful sign is kind of in a really, looks like it's in sort of a rustic area.
It's a small town. Yeah, I guess because it's a ferry stop, they can afford to put up a sculpture like this.
And who's that posing?
He's not posing. He just happened to show up and he's wondering what I'm doing.
What's he doing?
I don't know. He was behind and it suddenly appeared and I got his picture.
I try to take there are signs, big three-dimensional signs like this all over San Francisco, and I try to shoot them, but they're never interesting because I never can find a person to interact with these signs. They're just sort of invisible. They're just sort of part of the background. People don't really seem to notice them. But not in this case. All right, it's just after 9 o'clock and we have one more photo. So we're doing really well on time for us. I see we've lost most of our new guests from the social media promotion that I did. That's fine. We'll see what happens next week. Our last photo is by me, and then, of course, we'll do our poll. And the photo's title is Reflection at Moon Viewing Garden. And I took this at the San Francisco Botanical Gardens on Christmas Day because they offer free admission on Christmas Day. And I have been shooting reflections recently, and I thought that this was a good reflected composition, this tree. I like that we see the leaves of the tree in the water, they've fallen off the tree, but they're still sort of part of the tree.
Yeah, you got the three worlds
Yeah,
effect.
it reminds me of the Escher cut.
And I
Just
shot
need a
this
fish
with,
under there.
yeah. This is an X-Reel Beam Pro shot. And I did crop in maybe 2/3. I wasn't able to get as close as I wanted without stepping in the water.
It's a nice crop. I like how the stones make a natural frame.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's what I was going for. I wasn't sure if I was entirely successful. And I like that some of the leaves are on the stones as well. All right. I can see it's getting late. Let's do our poll. I really appreciate all you diehards who are still here after 9 o'clock. You have my everlasting admiration. I will go through the slideshow again, say the title and the maker, spend just a few seconds on each, and give everyone an opportunity to select their top 3 favorites. I'll give everyone just 10 or 20 seconds or so. Everyone who is able and interested in participating, you can pull up the poll on your phone, on your tablet, or on your computer with that QR code or that link. I am still planning to introduce ranked choice voting for our future slideshows in 2025. Got a little distracted with this Internet Archive business, but I will be returning to that.
Yeah, you mentioned that last time. What are your thoughts on that? I've written to you, but I don't think you replied.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look too much into it. I'm really looking for an existing solution, something that we can subscribe to like we are with the straw poll. I'm just hoping that we don't have to program anything because I don't
tried.
have the energy.
Yeah, I tried using the straw poll ranked choice in the New York Club, and people just didn't pay attention, and a lot of false results.
Interesting.
Yeah, I try putting stuff like replace this with your choice, and it just temporary placeholder was like the number 2 ranking result.
Well, we might end up just going back to the ranked choice voting spreadsheets that we were using before. They do work. I was just looking to avoid the setup of that. The straw poll service just makes it so easy. It's just a big copy paste operation. You can set up the poll in like a minute. However, we put a lot of effort into those scoring spreadsheets. They're very accurate. And I'm at a point in my life right now where I probably have a little bit more time to set those up. And in the past, of course, Melinda, you did all the heavy lifting with that UNJ. And I pulled that back. Maybe I'll be recruiting volunteers for that again.
Well, I already did a fair amount of experimentation with having AI write the JavaScript and stuff, and it's quite capable, and I'm confident that I can code up a complete example that that does everything that everybody wants, and would only need minimal help to get it installed. So, if we can talk about what we'd ideally love for it to do, put together the full wish list, then I could take a crack at it.
Okay.
Without any commitment required. I think it's quite achievable. I don't think we need to find a commercial version or have support by anybody else. I think we can have it all in house. The AI coders have gotten really good.
Well, let's go over our wish list next week. And I can also show and remind everyone what we were doing with the spreadsheets, and if there are features that we want to preserve in that, we can. My request is that it's something that can be set up, I guess, the night before, which I'm sure is something that could be done. Whatever we do, and we'll talk about this next week. I'm also trying to allow people to submit their photos as late as possible before the meeting. But we'll talk about that.
Just think about what would be your ideal, platform for the least energy work to put the content into place, such that the code would operate on it properly right out of the box, and then I'll see if I can do it.
Okay, sounds good.
Great.
I'll work on that. I'll work on that for next week.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, Melinda. All right, I'm going to go through the slideshow pretty quickly here. The welcome slide is not part of the voting. This is Bob's Art Lovers Havana. Santa Rex by Jay. Clothes Racks at the Alameda Point Antiques Fair by Matt. Buenos Aires Floating Restaurant by Steve. Marina Sunrise 2024-12-25 by Melinda. That's December 25th, 2024. Brown Beach Mushrooms by Bob. Clean Up Your Toys or You Are Next by Jay. Hugs and Kisses by Matt. .360 at the Dallas Fort Worth International Airport by Oleg. Sol 209 Perseverance rover drills into a rock by Melinda. Really, it's by the Perseverance rover, but Melinda will get the credit, as she will Sol 467 Perseverance rover finds litter. Next is Miniature Room by Jay. Nightclub Lights by Steve. Fruit Stand at Puerto Octe by Oleg. Pews at the Internet Archive by Matt. Window Santo Domingo by Bob.
I do note that Bob classified this as native when it's a conversion.
Good point. We'll still allow it, but
Yes.
I had overlooked that. Sunday at the Museum by Jay. Ushuaia Frigate by Steve. Looking Aft on the Honoprian Pyren Leptepu Ferry by Oleg. Window Welcome by Steve. Wet Street by Melinda. Back of Hornoprian Welcome Sign by Oleg. And finally, Reflection at Moon Viewing Garden by Matt. Let's take 60 seconds or so, make our selections, select your top 3, and we'll take a look at the results. While we are voting, I will make a few announcements. Our next meeting is next week, January 14. Our special is an open. We've got a double open, so submit whatever you would like to show. And if you could get that to me by Monday evening, I'll be sure to include it. I'll have, next week we'll talk about what we want to see in a ranked choice poll. I'll have some information to share about that. And I'm going to try to set up a Twitch stream based on Jay's experiment. See if that will work on my computer. I think that might be the solution us Lume Pad owners need. And of course, we'll publish instructions about how to do that. Does anyone need more time? Let me take a look at our results here. And I'll share them. And I'll share my screen. For our YouTube viewers, I'm sorry, you won't see the results, but I will tell you what the results are. It looks like Bob's Art Lovers Havana and Oleg's Looking Aft on the Honoprian Leptepu Ferry tied for our most popular selection. Well done. Melinda's Wet Street, we'll call that second. And Jay's Miniature Room as third. And everything else got one or no votes, so I think we're pretty clear here. excellent slideshow tonight. This was a great way to start off the year. I really enjoyed every submission for tonight's meeting, and I can't wait to see what we have to show for next week. I need to get out with my cameras because I'm fresh out, so you know what I'll be doing this weekend. Before we wrap it up, does anyone have anything they'd like to
Yes.
say?
Hello, I'd like to say something.
Hey, Peter.
Hello, Peter speaking. First of all, I came late to the meeting, so it may have been already said, but I have these Norman Rockwell pictures, the ones from the election.
Right.
Was it mentioned at all, Matt?
No,
I wasn't
we
sure.
didn't mention that.
Oh, okay. Would you like to go ahead and mention it, or
You can go ahead.
Sure. I made some 5x7 lenticulars before the election of the Rockwell Truman Dewey picture where they're arguing, man and wife in the kitchen. And I have a picture of Trump on one of the pictures and Harris on the other picture. And I have those for sale because I have about 10 of them left. And they go for $17 plus shipping. And there's a money-back guarantee. If you don't like your lenticular, send it back and I'll give you your money back.
I'll take one.
Picture. Okay. I'm at best to contact me at my website, which is info@snap3d.com. Then I'll communicate with you on that.
And I'm going to
Snap3d.com.
I just put that in the chat,
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
and so that'll make it a little easier. $17, you said? That's still accurate?
Yeah, $17. And if you send it back in good condition, you get the $17 back. But I don't return your shipping costs, I'm afraid.
I will not be returning it. That sounds great.
Oh, yeah. Even if you hate it, you just throw it away. I don't blame you.
No. I love that picture. You did such a great
Yeah.
job.
It's on a 42 LPI lens, sort of a thick lens, because that's how they print them one at a time. So anyway, all right. Thank you for anyone who contacts me, and I'll get it off to you. And the second thing I'd like to talk about is I'm looking. I have a FreeVi Commander tablet, and I'm looking for a way to do a slideshow that has transitions on it. Right now, I can do flat, just straight cuts on 3D Stereoid Pro, but I'd like to be able to do wipes, dissolves, etc., and play it on the FreeVi tablet. Does anyone know how to do that?
Sounds like you'd be making a video.
Probably, yeah. Does 3D Steroid Pro play videos? Do you know?
I don't think
I have
so.
TriDef as well, but I put a video in that went about a second and then cut out. I guess it was too big a file size or something.
There is.
Just-
Go ahead, Jay.
It doesn't have a video player built in.
Sorry, say that again, Jay.
Doesn't it have a video player? How you
On
play
the-
videos on it?
I don't see a place to play videos. I only see stills. Mine are all just stills to be hopefully played as a video if need be, with a a wipe in it or something between images.
You could use something like Magix to create the video.
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
would suggest.
What format is your video in?
I just have them as right now they're SBS JPEGs, 1920 wide,
Oh,
are
right.
my stills.
I mean, you could use any video editor then and just edit it. I mean, that's basically what I did when I made my films, is I just had two side by side, a side by side image, and I used Black Magic DaVinci Resolve, which is a free video editing program. I just discovered that, since this has come up just now, I just discovered that XN View, which is kind of my go-to still viewer, will play videos, and the reason I didn't MP4s it will crash, but an AVI that comes out of my W3 will play, and it's an odd thing because what it does is it plays one view in back of the other. It's like one view plays in the actual window, so if you resize it, you can have two side-by-side images and play it in XN View, which is a free program. I highly recommend that program just for looking at your stills or doing bulk conversions. But it turns out it is a way to view. It's awkward because you have to resize your screens every time you play, but an AVI, a stereo AVI will open up two windows. If that's of any help to anybody, if you don't want to buy Magics, you could put two side by side and actually do a video screen grab.
Because I was hoping to play it as a slideshow, because it's going to in library. My local library is willing to put up one of these things and just have it sitting there running constantly.
Yeah, I think a video loop would be the way to go. And I think it comes with some sort of video media player. I was just looking at the website, and it says it supports, video.
That's how I
I'm
would
sorry,
do it too.
is this XN one? How do you spell
Yeah, I'm talking about your Commander 3D tablet.
Oh,
Is
my
that what you
Commander.
have?
It's a Commander tablet will handle videos, does it say?
I'm pretty sure. It says 3D video here. I'm looking at the user manual.
Oh, well, thank you. I should get on there. And a simple wipe dissolve type program is, sorry, someone said XN, I think? Or Steve did?
Yeah, XN View
But is that the letter X, the letter N? I don't know.
Yes, I'm sorry. I need to identify that. It's the letter X, the letter N, and then the word view.
View, all one word. Okay, XN View. And again, I'm not looking for a fancy program, just simple stuff, transition. Okay, well, thank you, Jay and Steve, and then I'll look in the manual where to play this.
Page
I wasn't
14.
aware. Yeah, I was never aware I could play a video on the tablet. It would just play the stills in a slideshow.
Yeah, I put into chat.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, a video will give you the most control over the types of transitions. You can do just simple crossfades, or you could do something more complex, whereas with a slideshow program that just shows stills, you're going to be limited to whatever is built into that program. And it sounds like for the program that's built into your tablet, it's just going to show the photos without any sort of transition. So
yeah, right now, and they're nice, but they're just my show needs a little perking up, as it were, if it's going to go on a loop. So as long as the video goes on a loop when it's made, that's great.
Precisely, and it'll still appear like a slideshow, of course, but you'll have the transitions, you'll have more control over it. You could even put in a soundtrack, although that might not be appropriate for the venue where this is going to be set up. But if you wanted to add music or wanted to, talk over the slideshow, you could do that also. And I know that we use different video editing programs. I use the one called Magix, Magix.
Mhm.
And the version I use is very old. It's the 2013 version. It's up to the 2025 version now. But really, if your slides are side-by-side JPEGs, you can use any video editing program pretty much. You don't need like a 3D specific video editing program. That said,
good.
Magix does have built-in 3D support, so it, I don't know if that makes it actually any easier, but it is something that it features. And I will put that link in the chat too.
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, with Jay saying that it will play a video, period, I think it can be worked around to make this happen. I never got a video to play. That was my problem.
No.
Just as a matter of interest, how many slides do you have for that show, Peter?
I'm giving them around 40, perhaps. But I've got, these are all neighborhood pictures, vintage from the 30s and 40s. And everyone will know the locations who's going to go to the library, but I could put in 100 if I wanted, or 2, just. But I figured 40 is enough to just make someone stand there and look at it for a little while.
Are you going to show it on a 3D TV, or are you going to project this? What's the display going to look like?
It's going to be on the tablet, just on the FreeVi tablet. And they've said they'll put it on a desk somewhere and set it on run, however that run will look like, and then they walk away. And I've tested it where if I plug it in to a wall plug, it will run all day for hours.
Yeah.
Without the battery there's no battery to go down, in other words.
We did something similar with some Lume Pads that were loaned to us at Maker Faire 2023. We had 3 of them on display, and they were plugged in, and they were just running a slideshow loop. In this case, it wasn't a video, it was just still photos, and we used whatever, if there was even a transition in the built-in, what is that, the Leia Player app? In any case, we did something similar, and it was very successful. So I think that would definitely work.
I'm glad people liked the effect when it was happening, because this has to be a hands-off thing. The staff is not supposed to sit there and push buttons either.
Yeah.
It just runs.
Yeah.
The public will be pushing buttons. The public will have it all over that screen.
That's why I'm thinking of putting it in a little box, perhaps, where people can't monkey with it.
And a security cable.
Yeah, they'll steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Jay just put one in the chat. That's a great tip.
Well,
We've done similar
does
things.
anyone know of a security system directly for one of those little
It's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. Wonderful. So I can buy a little thing with a hopefully electric thing. When they touch it, they are electrocuted immediately.
That's a bit more expensive.
I was in the film business where filming props on a movie set would have a table full of food and things. And they didn't, for continuity, they didn't want this touch between takes. So they would say, please don't, people ignored it, and they'd all touch the food and move it. They finally put a sign up saying, wash hands immediately after touching.
Probably
And
scared
that
the living
worked.
daylights out of people.
The psychological statement of that was what made people not touch something.
Peter, we've done similar things with our 3D TV, just setting up the TV, having a slideshow on a loop. And I think we have done video slideshows for the TV in the past. And in the case of our 3D TV, we've just left like a basket of the polarized glasses that people can put on and then take off when they're done. And that's always been successful too. So I think your idea is a good one. I think people will definitely respond when they see the amazing 3D effect.
Well, I do have an LG passive TV, 47-inch one, and I can lug it down there to the library if this first little thing's successful.
You could. People will take off with the glasses. They're, free.
That I don't mind. I got some cardboard passive
Yeah.
ones that were pretty reasonable.
You would need to refresh them occasionally as they disappear.
And they'll steal the USB plug that I have plugged into it right now at home.
Could be, yeah. But the tablet sounds like a viable option, and you'll probably blow people away.
Well, they're going to put it on the desk where the checkout is, they say, pointing the other, so at least an attendant will be close by.
Yeah.
But I like Jay's link there for whatever the link will be.
Yeah. Well, let us know if you're able to make it next week or whenever. Let us know what you decide, how you decide to present the slideshow, if you make a video and what software you use. Magix, I mean, any video editing program has something of a learning curve, but if you've used one, they all kind of follow the same timeline-based editing paradigm. So,
I'm looking for the simple version, the home version or something.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for fancy timing on effects and everything.
Well, Magix may be that option. Check it out. There's a free trial. You can play with it, and if you hate it, you're not out anything.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you everybody for your help.
Yeah.
And
these, of course,
anyone
are all
who
gonna be
contacts me at
conversions.
info can get one of these pictures.
And you're going to be showing conversions, right? These are...
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't say the Rockwell thing is definitely a conversion.
Right.
5x7 in size. It'll fit a little 5x7 frame if you want.
Incidentally, I submitted I reached out to everyone about using your photos in the Golden Gate Stereoscopic Society profile in an upcoming issue of Stereoscopy magazine, or the journal from the International Stereoscopic Union. And Peter, your Rockwell conversion will be in there also, so you can look forward to that. Everyone can look forward to seeing their photos. That will be coming out sometime in 2025. I don't know exactly when, but I'll announce it. And if you're not a member of the International Stereoscopic Union, check it out. And the journal is delivered quarterly, I think, and it's always got great photography in it and how-to articles, and I recommend it.
Yeah, it's an excellent journal. I've got a subscriber. It's excellent.
And I will put their link in the chat also. I think a lot of us are already subscribers to the, or members rather, of the International Stereoscopic Union, but it's a great source for 3D photography. That's in the chat right now. And they have a biennial International Stereo Congress. I've never been to one. The next one will be this year in the Netherlands. All right. Thank you, Peter. Looking forward to hearing more about that. Good luck with that project.
Thank you.
And if there's nothing else for tonight, I'm going to call it, and I'll see everyone, I hope, next week. That would be the 14th, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Until then, good night, everyone, and I'll see you then. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Great show tonight.
Thank you. Night all.